Hello guys, we have another faction show off. This time it's the Death Knight Wing. So this isn't a new faction. This is only a partial rework. So if you're familiar with the faction, you have your starting heroes Koltira, Lamoon's Cerziliak, and you can get like Undead Alex and Undead Darian. I haven't touched Undead Alex or Darian yet, and I may in future patches. So here are the notable changes. Here's the quote unquote rework. If you watch the Fiona's Caravan video, these changes were done in mind. These changes were done considering the new faction that was being added, only heroes, and I said, all right, let's make the Death Knight Wing only heroes too. Or like, let's remove the Templars. Fuck the Templars. I think the Death Knight Wing will probably have more elites than Fiona's Caravan. Like, I don't think it's going to be kind of like both factions are just heroes. And I'll kind of go through that in a second, but let's start with the new heroes or the new layout. So Thessarian and who's the other one? Thessarian and Koltira are now going to start in the game. I think in the past they're like event heroes, like gray. I'm not even sure if you can get them for brown. Maybe you can get them for like losing these three guys. I forget. But fuck it, they're starting in the game. The brown will start with 5 heroes. And then they'll have a choice to start with either Vesuvius or Gothic. Meaning if you're playing brown, you're going to start off with 6. Which is mirrored to purple, who will start off with 6 heroes. So the major changes are basically the 3 main Death Knights have a heal. And if you watch the Fiona's Caravan video, you'll notice a trend here that gives you an aura for maxing out the heal. And as I mentioned, this is to incentivize a alternate build where maybe you actually want to max the heal out rather than like nobody maxes Death Coil over or, Frost Nova or whatever, like in the past. So, thematically, the auras that you get from maxing these guys out are like the mark of Thane or Blamu or Cerziliak from the World of Warcraft raid or dungeon. And, Rider's Mark. So, Cerziliak gets like Life Regen Aura, Blamu, a reverse Durance Aura to enemies, and Thane, a Command Aura. So, I was going for a new pattern, kind of inspired by the Nazgul from BFME, where the ability icon position got messed up, where the heroes have a damaging ability on E, AoE damage on E, and AoE buff on W. So for Cerziliak, he'll actually get a non-dispellable Scroll of Healing, which will kind of occur over a relatively long period of time, which should give the faction decent sustain, considering they'll be losing some reliable Death Knights in the aforementioned changes. And Lamu has a AoE anti-magic shell. Maybe it should be a bit bigger. And Thane a spirit link. So hopefully those three things provide enough durability, sustainability for the faction. And then their E's are just like, this is like a Nova, this is a acid bomb, but in flame theme, and a Bone of Cold or Frost. Voltira and Thessarian are a little different, just because, and I think Undead Darren McGrain will probably follow this format. They don't have death coils. They actually have a it's kind of like a Stormbolt in close range without a stun. So it's like a damage nuke. They both have a Thunderclap, and this is a Berserk on their E. And if you get the Death Strike, single target damage nuke to level 4, even though it says level 3 twice, you actually get a stun, so you get the full Stormbolt. And the intention for this faction is, obviously it doesn't look super OP on paper to just have like death coils and weak nukes, but in practice it might end up being pretty OP to have huge nuke potential and maybe I should put the Thunderclaps on E. That would make it more Kraslowable. And all the same key exactly, so spammable. So I don't know like how this is gonna play out. These values might be too high, they might be too low. It'll definitely require some balancing, but that's the new layout. So again, I guess to clarify, each Death Knight has a passive instead of the attribute, which is like they get a critical strike twice. This one, maybe I'll switch it to Drunken Brawler, evasion, cleave, and so it's annihilation. So, in another video that I'll cover right after this, because we're doing this on stream, each faction will get a path choice, so they'll actually get to choose a unique hero and a unique elite. So Brown's path choices are Gothic the Gothic the Harvester and Rasuvius. They so Rasuvius is obviously melee. He has the same kit from previous War in the Plaguelands patches, besides the Death Coil being replaced with a Death Strike. And Gothic is a little different. I actually don't remember what his kit was before, but he's now mounted. So we got nice group of horsemen. He has a frost armor, a Nova, and another anti-magic shield. I think I probably was meaning to replace this. And a mana drain on the ultimate. And Gothic is the same outside of this. And their elites are a little different. Basically, Gothic's elite doesn't have a heal, but he has a cripple, dispel, and mana drain, and another frost armor in case you needed auto cast frost armor. And then Resuvius's elite is just kind of more normal and with a heal. Some of these things might be adjusted, but the concept was... I also forgot to mention something. I think Lady Blamo, Zerzilic are ranged. And the other 3 are melee. So part of the path choice could be, if you want to play super aggressive, you can choose Resuvius and be like very much in melee range. Your death strikes. Because choosing Resuvius, you get another potential stun. You get it to level 4. And then Gothic is ranged, and his elites are ranged. So if you wanted to maybe take on a more balanced playstyle. I mean, these guys also have heal too, which makes it easy to dive, right? I don't know. I feel like I forgot to change some of Gothic's abilities. I feel like Gothic was supposed to... I think I meant to give Gothic a heal on Q and the Frost Nova on E. We'll get back to that. But if you choose Gothic, you kind of have a more balanced playstyle. You have more units that you can like always have auto attacking unit, like enemy units, whatever. Yeah, my lack of sleep is showing, dude. I'm slurring my words. I'm not even drunk. So that's pretty much it. I guess I feel like the new Death Knight Wing is not as flashy as Fiona's Caravan, but this standardization of skills and this new layout could be pretty significant, but we'll see what people do with it. So next up, I will go through the paths. And if you haven't watched the Fiona's Caravan video, I think I'm going to post all these at the same time. I don't think if I missed anything. I think that's it. Like, follow, subscribe.